Hello. I never really appreciated the fact that my life would end up like this in my old age, because I had a very full life and I had a lot of potential, but unfortunately my emotional instability basically destroyed my life, because I hadn't learned one little basic lesson, which was that as far as women were concerned, um, I should have been a lot less susceptible, put it that way. When I was 52 in 1992, having been born in 1940, I had a nice house, quite large grounds, in Oldfield Road in Hawley, and uh, I would say that I'd had 12 years of a fairly intolerable marriage, really, because it's not easy living with somebody who suffers from PMT constantly. But now and again we thought we were happy. We thought we were happy, but my ex-wife wasn't happy, and in fact, in the end, neither was I. But we tolerated it for the sake of our twin sons, and they're now grown up, of course. They're both 22 and a half, and one's just gone to Dartmouth, and to start his engineer officer induction and training, and James, one of my sons, I mean Richard and James are the names, but James was going the RAF as an engineer officer as well, but unfortunately he's been delayed a bit because he's got an injured back. But Richard's gone into the Royal Navy as an engineer officer potentially, and hopefully he'll get through his course and get on in life. James may have to change direction, as indeed I had to when I was 23. I was enlisted out of the Royal Navy prematurely, right in the middle of my career, which is my chosen career, which I started at 15, and I always had aspirations to become an officer, but I only ever got to be a petty officer mechanician. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I've had many times in my quiet moments when I've died 1,000 deaths because of the breakup of my marriage and the loss of my twin sons. I gave their mother everything. I gave my half of the house and every cent I had, and I walked out eventually at her request over several months. I finally had this contract to go to Malaysia, and I went to Malaysia to swing from the trees and eat bananas and try to forget. So that particular contract with Smith Klein Beecham, as was at that time, was supposed to be for a week or 2 weeks. It turned into 6 months in actual fact. So after the contract expired, I managed to find other work out there, and I stayed out there. Cut a long story short, 4 or 5 years. But my lungs, that were already severely diseased, wouldn't take that kind of weather for forever, so I had to come back in 1997. But since when I've lived in fairly abject poverty because I gave everything I had away. There's a lot of people think I'm stupid for doing that, but at least I could sleep nights. But I didn't realise that as I got older, with no increase in income and a progressive deterioration of income, I'd end up going bankrupt. I haven't quite done it yet, but I think I'm only about 3 weeks away from going bankrupt. And I've thought of suicide, of course, but I think basically suicide is two things. One, it's cowardice, I think, really, and the other thing is it's a crime anyway, really. And the third thing is that it's the people you leave behind. I mean, I wouldn't want my twin sons or my 3 daughters to think that their father, who, although he lived alone and never saw anybody, like I'm a hermit actually. I wouldn't want them to think that their father killed himself. So I'm persevering, and I'll weather all the storms, of course, but things will look brighter. Every time you start a new day, something else makes you think, well, life's not so bad after all, and there's a miracle in life, and so on. As a Chinese doctor said to me when I was in Malaysia, you know, there's so much to live for. Look around you and realise how much there is to live for. Well, I know that, of course, because I've always been a great appreciator of the countryside, nature, the beauty, when I drive around in my car, and if I'm ever walking, which is rarely, I do look at life and think, how beautiful. I have emotions, I have feelings, I cry when I watch films, or I have tears in my eyes, I listen to the news, which is equally up and down when you think of the McCanns and that stupid situation with the Portuguese police. It's beggars belief, really. But I come back to myself inevitably, and would just say that I've died 1,000 deaths every couple of weeks, basically, since my marriage broke up, because losing my little boys that I cherished so much, and I made them an aeroplane they could sit in, I made them 2 trolleys that they could drive and be proud of, all varnished and finished off properly and so on, and I mean, it cost me £60 for the wheels alone, and that was sort of 18 years ago. And I spared no expense when it came to buying special presents for the boys, but they speak to me on the phone now and again, and then we get together and I get them a lunch, but their visits have never lasted more than 3.5 hours since they were babies. I've got twin sons, but I never see them for more than 3.5, 4 hours at the most. And my daughters I never see at all. And of course I did try to recover from all these things by volunteering my services to Bezo, but I went to China 1 year and I went to Russia the next. I met my interpreter. We married in 2005, 26th of April 2005. Of course she's been banned from the country permanently, and I've been called an out-and-out liar by a coloured judge, Judge Bart-Stewart of the Immigration Department, who appeared to be judging me rather than the fact that they won't let my wife in. And I've done nothing wrong in actual fact. I'm just a little bit stupid. I'm a big bit stupid really. But the only problem I ever suffer from is basically I'm probably too sincere and too principled, and I can't be tough on people, and I can't harden up basically. So I just have to live with what I am. There's many people worse off, of course, and I'll only have to go to Headley Court to know that. But I feel for these people. I feel for anybody who's a lot worse off than I am, because emotionally I'm right at the bottom of the bin. Still, tomorrow's a new day, and I just have to try and rise above it. But you know, when you wake up every day and you spend all day in an uptight bundle of misery, the nervous tension, your stomach's in a knot, you're suffering from acute anxiety for all your waking hours, knowing that you've got no chance of survival whatsoever. I'm racing into a brick wall. So I don't think there's any help I can get anywhere really that's going to be worth anything. And I just thought I'd say my piece and see what it sounded like as a test. So on that happy note, I'll look forward to tomorrow. Thank you, and good night. Bye bye.